Well, and every Sunday night I come to you live here at 9 p.m. to 10 p.m. We do a live show and we talk about a whole host of things in the cannabis industry related to Massachusetts, because hey, you know, that's where it's going federal. It's not only going to be available medically in Massachusetts, but as you know, if you're watching my show, you should know it's recreationally available in July. And we have a lot of news, we have a lot of information coming out on that, and that's why you want to stay tuned. And if you can't watch the broadcast live, make sure you watch it during the week, because you're going to get great information, and we're always going to have great guests on that own various companies and have various products in the industry that give you substantial discounts just for watching our show. So this is the Barrett Report, and on the Cannabis Radio Network, we have a few more shows coming out. We have the Green Nurse radio show that's coming out in July, and we have the Average Joe Grow. So those are two new shows that are coming out in July, and you're going to get more information on those. So make sure you stay tuned, follow us on Facebook. We also have the YouTube up and running, so make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel as well. So this week we have a lot to discuss. In the studio with me, I have the ladies from the Green Nurse Group, the co-founders, if you will. I have Sherry Tutkus and Dale Buckman. Now, Sherry's a registered nurse, Dale's a nurse practitioner, and they have a nonprofit organization called the Green Nurse Group, and you're going to be hearing all about that group over the next hour. But specifically, we're going to be talking about anxiety, stress and anxiety, as well as depression, especially in younger people. And you say younger people, what do you mean younger? I'm talking about young kids. I'm talking about kids 6, 7, and even younger. We'll get into that. But CBDs, a CBD oil is something that a lot of parents that have children and with anxiety, you've heard a lot about CBDs, but you don't know where to go, you don't know who to trust. And the Green Nurse Group here is here to talk about that. And they go around and they educate a lot of people on this. So welcome Sherry and Dale again to the show. I'm glad you're here.
Good to be here.
So anxiety, it's becoming more and more of an issue. I don't remember growing up turning around and having everybody having anxiety, but today, you know, with all that's going on in the world, that you know, it seems like more kids have anxiety more than ever before.
As they get older, in the high school years, you know, what I'm learning is the pressure. They're not knowing what they want to do. They're excited, but they're afraid. They want their autonomy. You know, the whole electronics, you know, the
social media.
Yeah, social media. So a lot of these kids have been disconnected. That's one piece of it. The other piece of it is
But disconnected, isn't that how everybody connects?
Yeah, but they're connected through electronics. So they're missing a piece of that connection. So just think of when kids go to college. Okay, their whole network of friends have been social media. So now they have to go out and meet new kids. A lot of kids that have gone from structured lives, specifically sports, that don't do sports anymore. What happens is their serotonin levels drop. Okay, so then because they're not exercising, they're not producing enough of their own. They get depressed, and they don't understand why they're depressed. That makes them anxious. They think that there's something wrong with them. And what's happening over time is, let's prescribe a pill.
You know, one of the Healthy People 2020, which sets benchmark goals, one of those goals is to treat depression. So there's a push right now, and it has been for a while, to get these kids in. So if a kid is in college and they go to the health center, that's their option, they go to the health center, they're gonna try to get them treated right then and there, because kids aren't really good with follow-up. And one of the things they're doing is prescribing antidepressants or anti-anxiety medication.
Now when you say antidepressants and anti-anxiety medication, can you be more specific? Are we talking about like Xanax and Valium and Ativan and drugs that, like, if you
Dangerous.
stop, like they make you an addict.
Well, here's the thing, so we talk about cannabis as being psychoactive, but in fact, all drugs that change your brain are psychoactive. They may not be intoxicating like THC, but they're still psychoactive and they're doing something.
Yeah.
Changes are happening in your brain with the first dose of an antidepressant. And what people don't
Oh, you
realize-
said with the first dose of an
First dose,
your brain
your
changes?
brain is starting to
Boink.
change. Yeah?
Right?
So what happens when we stop making our own, because we're introducing this chemical into our brain, then our brain no longer has to make that chemical. And what we don't realize is that's an addiction, that's a dependency. Your brain is now dependent on that. So what happens, people take it for a while, it's not meant to be long-term. People end up on it forever because it's really difficult to get off. When you do get off, you go through withdrawals. And oftentimes, part of that withdrawal is a rebound depression that's a lot worse than what they came in with to start off. And suicide rate goes up. So people that are depressed.
I heard one expert tell me that the withdrawals, you see like, oh, withdrawals. I had one expert tell me that the withdrawals on those benzodiazepines,
Yeah.
or that's what they call
Yeah.
those line of drugs.
Anti-anxiety
They said the
medication.
withdrawals is worse than heroin. You wouldn't believe the withdrawals. It's not just like,
And
oh,
it's not
you know.
expected, because nobody told them if they were gonna stay on it for this amount of time, that they were gonna have to go through that to get off of them.
So
And
if a young child is in college, for instance, and they go there, yeah, I'm having anxiety, I'm having depression, I'm away from my home, I had a breakup, whatever the case
Yeah.
is. You're saying
put 'em on-
usually the first line of defense is one of those.
Oftentimes it has to be, because these kids don't follow up their kids and they don't know. So they're often treating them with that as a first line, but what they're not doing is teaching them how to cope with real life. Because in real life, we go through anxious moments, we go through difficult times, we go through breakups, we go through anxiety related to having a test. It's normal parts of life. And these are the times when we should be teaching them how to cope with real life, rather than just giving them a drug and saying, here you go, this'll fix it.
That's addictive.
That's very.
Extremely addictive, and we can talk about that to a whole nother show. CBDs, cannabis. Not just talking about getting high, talking about pot, smoking. I'm talking about CBDs, medical CBDs are helping people all over the country with anxiety and panic attacks
Yes.
and multiple disorders like that. Talk about CBDs for people that are watching the show for the first time. Tell me what CBDs are, because a lot of people watching, they don't necessarily want to get high, but they've heard that they can get help with their specific health challenge with this thing called CBD.
Yes. Cannabis.
Either one of you can take that question.
I'm gonna let Dale talk about it. No,
Okay.
I'm just.
So cannabidiol is a part of the plant. There's two parts, the THC and the CBD. They're the most well studied. And the CBD is non-intoxicating. We often say it's not psychoactive, but the fact is, again, just like any other medication that changes your brain, that's psychoactive. So if we're calling it that, it's not intoxicating, so you don't often feel anything. You may feel more relaxed, it can help some people to sleep. So it's a part of the plant that's also very, considered a neuroprotectant.
Now, this just became legal in Massachusetts recently too, CBDs? Is this something that's new? Like, you couldn't get this 5-10 years ago, right?
So I'm sure it was available somewhere, but we hadn't really heard much about it, but because there's pharmaceutical companies that are testing this in products.
And they're trying to extract it and trying to make a drug
So it's becoming
out of
much
it.
more well-known.
Yeah.
So kids have been using it for seizures very effectively.
And
I'll-
before you talk about using it, you're not talking about smoking
no,
it.
no,
Talk
no.
about the different delivery systems, because there's the tinctures.
So the tinctures are very effective, and it's great for kids or for older people, whoever. You don't have to smoke it. You don't have to smoke any form of cannabis now. It also comes in pills. What other ways are, you can get it in edibles.
Vaporizers, edibles, salves, tinctures, lotions, soaps.
In children that are having anxiety, I have a daughter, cheerleader, 14 years old, has bad anxiety. But I know 5 anxiety, when does that start? It seems like our kids, they go from wanting to do anything, dancing in front of everybody at the weddings, and then all of a sudden they get to a certain age, and it's like, anxiety, and that fear kicks in.
Prom, I get a message, text message, Mom, I'm so anxious. I'm like, oh my God, it's prom. What? The anxiety of a teenager. Like what is that? Where's it coming from? You know?
And I think it's multiple things. I mean, you can look at you can turn on the news for a second and have anxiety for the rest of the day.
Yeah,
But these CBDs are actually helping people, and it's not something that, like an antidepressant, that if you go to your doctor and you say, I'm having anxiety and depression, they put you on an antidepressant, which you as a practitioner probably have written prescriptions for antidepressants in the past.
Shame, yes.
Right, but they take months sometimes for the patient to feel a benefit. Well,
the efficacy really hasn't been proven with antidepressants.
No, I saw the commercial. 2 out of 3 people that take them are still depressed.
Well, if I poll patients, are you being treated for depression and are you feeling depressed, or give them a depression screening and they're still depressed, but yet they're being treated for it. Efficacy has not been proven, and it's been shown that lifestyle changes, changing your diet, exercising is just as effective or more effective than antidepressants. So they work better, and they don't have the side effects are really amazing side effects, because it offers you a whole lot of other things that can benefit your life. CBD similarly doesn't create a dependency. So the person, not only is it helping their brain because it's a neuroprotectant, but it's also not changing the brain in a way that's debilitating like the antidepressants are.
Right. I just want to let our viewers tune in for a second and let them know if you have any questions for either Sherry or Dale. We're here, for the next 45 minutes. If you have any questions at all, please pick up the phone. Call the number 617, I think it's right on the screen anyway, 617-944-5111, 5111, I like to say, 617-944-5111. Just give us a call. We'd love to hear from you. If you have any experience with CBD, if you've tried it, if you would like to try it, if you have any questions, please just give us a call. Now, CBD, just getting back to what I was asking you a few minutes ago, it's only been available in Massachusetts for a few years. I mean, I walked into a gas station, I saw CBD, so I was just confused. I
was just introduced to it when I became a medical patient. So I didn't know about CBD until, 2000?
But this is available in Massachusetts,
Yeah.
and it's banned in other states right
Yes.
now. Meaning other states, and I know there's legislation going through to actually have it available, the
Right.
CBDs, in all 50 states. But currently, as we sit here today, it's banned in many states where patients don't have access to the CBD. Am I correct?
Legal.
Legally,
access,
that's what I'm talking
right.
about, legal aspect.
But I
Yeah.
think it's widely available.
They can
On the
do-
internet.
On the internet, yeah.
So even in states that it's not legal, they don't have CBD only laws, they can still probably get it.
You know what I think is great is all this information that's coming out because of the potential of it going federally legal. But for years, and I've been smoking for a long time, back in high school and everything. Nobody ever said, hey, try these. These have CBDs. Or
Right.
try
No, we
these
never heard of
CBDs.
that.
There was
No.
never a black
Right.
market for CBDs.
Right.
And I'm just saying, there's probably not a lot of people out there, forget Massachusetts, all over the country, that don't know what CBDs are, why they're only available in certain states and they're not available in other states, and what are the benefits? What are the benefits? I mean, people, just like you and I, go on Facebook and I see like the dog. I saw a dog not too long ago with the tincture, and he was like shaking, and the dog had some type of disorder, was making him shake. And as you know, animals don't have a placebo effect.
Exactly.
And
Dogs can't lie.
well, they can't lie, and the video was on him the whole time, and it was like unbelievable how the
Transformation.
transformation. But it's not just with dogs. I've seen it with children. I've seen it with elderly people and with seizures.
Oh.
I mean, it's helping people. It's natural, and it's now available in Massachusetts.
Yes.
Right? Where do people go to get it or get more information?
Well, they can call us. We can give them plenty of information. We don't have a problem. We can do consultations. So what we really like to do is we like to focus on the whole person, holistic health, right? Mind, body, spirit, biopsychosocial, spiritual. So what we like to do before we decide we want to give someone anything, talk to you. You know, call us up. We can answer your questions.
To find out if you're even a candidate or a patient for CBD or.
You know what? Don't just order anything. Do the research yourselves too. Do the research, and then call us up, and we can talk about it. Right? There's a way, because we really want people, if they're going to be purchasing product and they're going to be taking medicine, they need to know about it. They need to understand it. They need to know how to dose. They need to know how to the applications, about safety, about harm reduction, about side effect. So all of that
Interactions with medications.
interactions with medications. And
they-
so
Now,
we can do that.
You don't need a medical card for CBD.
No.
I mean, real soon you don't need a medical card for anything, but now you don't need a medical card for CBD.
Right.
So I mean, it could be available and like GNC or something. I mean, it's a nationwide
and it's important
company.
to know your source. Where is it coming from? Because this plant is a bioaccumulator, meaning that it sucks in toxins from the soil. So you want to know that your product is tested. It was grown organically. You want to know where that product came from. It's really an important component here.
Just like any other thing you
Just
take
like
in your
any
body.
other thing that puts
Exactly. Pesticides, chemicals, you know, is it been genetically modified? What is the soil? What do they
Yes.
feed it with? What are the nutrients? Is it hydroponics? Is it soil? These are all different kinds of ways of doing of testing and figuring out, and that's what we want the patients to have. Plus the profiles of the cannabinoids, the terpenes, all of that's really important.
So someone is in anxiety, they have an anxiety situation, or maybe some situations cause anxiety, like maybe a social event or like with my daughter, a cheerleading competition. And I know we don't recommend or diagnose or anything, or we don't treat or cure anything on this show. We're just having a discussion.
Yeah, just a discussion. We don't. Yeah.
Would you, if that was your daughter, for instance,
right.
would you give her the CBD oil before the competition, before the event? I mean, how do you do?
I can tell you, for me personally, with my kids, is basically I would want to know a little bit more about besides just the cheerleading and that. So because part of what can happen, if you know the whole story, is you can figure out a way to dose continuously, microdose, not all day long, but maybe a little, you know what I mean, like a vitamin to help, instead of just doing it as needed. So but that's trial and error. So you'd work with each person specifically, work with the parent, figure out other tools that you can use with this to help reduce symptoms of anxiety. So with my daughter, she's sprained her ankle before getting on the basketball court and for a tournament at the Boston Garden, and I medicated her with full spectrum CBD oil, and it helped. She got through the game.
Right. Hold on, I have one caller here on the line. Actually, I have a couple callers, but give me 1 second. Hi, Dickie. Thanks for calling in. This is Donald at the Cannabis Radio Network. You had a question.
Hey, Donald. How are you doing tonight? In fact, great show. These women are unbelievable. But the question I have is, how about the cost of the CBD oils and tinctures versus buying buds and smoking them, as well as the relative effectiveness between the two, between the tincture and smoking it?
Yeah, great question.
So, I guess it depends on what the dosing is and what first of all, we have to know what symptoms are you trying to mitigate, how you're using it. So tinctures, even though sometimes a little bottle at the dispensary might be $70, depending on how you're using it, it could last 2 months. So, not sure how much somebody's smoking, but sometimes tinctures can
Last
be,
longer.
seems like it's expensive up front, but they last a lot longer.
Yeah, a lot longer.
Sounds like it would actually be less expensive. Is that
Right,
Oh, it is.
reasonable?
Yes,
Yes.
that's correct.
And then patients also have the capability, if they want to, is to buy the flower and to make their own tincture.
Which
So-
a lot of people
Right,
aren't
but
willing to do.
Yeah, it sounds like
Yeah.
science class to
It's
me.
a little,
does.
it's a little bit
But
of
But
work.
that's
some
a
people might want
possibility.
Some
to.
people
Down
might
the
do
road,
that,
yeah.
yes.
Right, interesting. Oh,
But
cool.
over the long term, the tincture seems to be less expensive. Upfront cost, but over time.
Now, have you tried it in the past, Dickie? Have you
I
tried?
have. It's been great.
Oh, good.
Yeah, over about the past month or so.
Okay, and did it work for you right away, or was it something that took a week or?
I'd say within 10 days or so.
Wow,
Okay.
that's great. And
And-
how do you dose?
Yeah, how do
There's-
you do a tincture, or how do you do it?
Drops under the tongue.
Oh,
And what are
good.
you using?
Yeah,
I'm sorry?
What kind of what's the name? What product are you using?
THCA and CBD both.
Okay,
Ah,
Yeah.
that's one of my
THCA.
favorites.
You know, it's funny.
THCA is going to be the game changer.
Yes.
And I want to talk about that. And Dickie, I want to thank you for bringing up THCA because this is what we're going to get into in just a second. But thanks for calling in. Okay.
Thanks.
All right, THCA. He mentioned the
Yeah.
THCA.
That's
okay?
a great product.
And for the average person that might be getting confused, they're like, okay, THC, CBD.
Yeah.
I like to make it simple. Imagine it is raw plant extract. So instead of, it's a cold extraction. So you pick the plant and you cold extract it and you get the live, it's not, you get the cannabinoids that have not been decarboxylated or heated or cured over time.
So you
But
take
they
the
will-
whole plant, though.
Mhm.
And they extract the THCA.
So this plant here, for example,
Yes.
there's no psychoactivity here. This is the raw plant. Until this plant is heated, decarboxylated, it's the THC, it's all THCA. So the A is an acid group, a carboxyl group. When you heat that,
It drops it.
it drops it and turns into THC. But as a cold extraction, it's all THCA. And the benefits are amazing and patients love it. A lot of patients come in and probably 90%, they'll come in, they're treating themselves medically. They'll sit down and they'll say, I don't want to get high. I don't want to feel weird. And it's great that we have this option because THCA is a very powerful anti-inflammatory. It's like a COX inhibitor. It works similar to like Celebrex.
Oh, like a COX-2 inhibitor, like
Yes,
Celebrex
exactly.
or
Yes.
like
Vioxx.
the Vioxx or
which
whatnot.
was recalled, but yes.
Right, but
Because of the side
but
effects.
because of people that have joint pain and arthritis
And it
and
works
things associated with that.
fantastic. Also, it's been used for headaches. It's a mood enhancer. It's a neuroprotectant. It's
So-
a very
The other
strong
piece is-
antioxidant.
You guys make me go
that-
crazy. I get so many questions when you guys
Well-
still talk. But with this THCA,
So
do
think
they have to
about-
go to a dispensary to get this?
Yeah.
That's
Yes.
where is that where it's available?
Yeah.
I mean, you go into a dispensary now. You get CBDs, you get THCA, you get
They-
CBD.
THCA should be in every single dispensary.
Well, and it's
Absolutely.
non-intoxicating,
So
which
if
is the
you
great
have
thing.
So
all
why
the
don't you take the
benefits.
THCA?
All the benefits of THC without the psychoactivity or intoxicating effects. So, and you don't need as much. So the amount of milligrams that patients
Does the
actually need,
THCA have the CBDs already in there?
I think you have to be tested. I don't think it does.
Or do you
To be
have
good.
I want a product that
You'd
has
have to have it
want
tested.
Depends on the
if
product.
I was coming in and I'm hearing what you ladies are saying, and
There's
even
a-
I don't want to get high, but I want to get the most benefit. I
Right.
want a product that has THCA and a high quality CBD product.
Well, not necessarily, because with any medication, if you go to the doctor or the nurse practitioner and they prescribe something, they're not going to prescribe 2 drugs at the same time.
Well, they
because-
shouldn't.
Right, they shouldn't.
Right,
We
okay.
want to start one at a time to see, is
What
this
works?
effective? And is this helping? If it's not enough, so we start somebody off, I think, THCA. Some people don't want it because they're a little afraid of the THC and the THCA, and they don't understand, so they'll want to start off with the CBD. They feel more comfortable with that. For other people, they want to try the THCA, and we look at sometimes CBD is more effective for nerve pain, for example. So we'll start off with the THCA, which is a very powerful anti-inflammatory, and it will go so far. For some people, it can eradicate all of their pain, and for others, maybe they still have a little nerve pain. So now we'll try that for a couple weeks, then we'll move on and add the CBD into that. So then we can have a mix, but starting them both at the same time.
So we may recommend both, but
Right.
we discuss with the patient what we should start with first before adding something else. We create a care plan.
And THCA, where is that available? I mean, I haven't even really heard that much about THCA. I mean, you have to go to a dispensary and ask for it, like you said,
Yeah,
and ask for the CBDs, and
Not every one carries it.
yeah.
Not every dispensary has it in stock. A
We-
lot of the caregivers in the state, they're really
Private
good.
caregivers.
Yeah,
There's some private
they're
caregivers
pretty amazing.
that are actually making high quality tested medicine for patients specifically with medicine that we need, because a lot of our patients that are really, really sick, A, can't get to the dispensary, and B, they're not getting what they need.
Mhm.
And a lot of what they need to start with is something like a THCA, a full spectrum CBD, or a CBD, a lot of the salves.
so if someone out there is confused, and that's what I love about your organization, your nonprofit organization, because if people are confused, they can go to your website, they can consult with a registered nurse,
Yes.
a nurse practitioner, and get the information specific for them, more customized for them.
Correct.
But like you said, how can you give good information without knowing more information about an
Exactly.
individual?
Right.
Yeah.
So if someone's confused, THCA, CBDs, should I do the flowers? Should I do vape?
Exactly.
They
There's
can
a-
call the Green Nurse Group, or
Right.
and
Exactly.
go right to the website and request more information.
Right. So when we have our radio show, Green Nurse Radio, starting July 11th,
Yes.
on Wednesdays, live Wednesdays, 8 to 9, July 11th. Anyways, what we want to do too is we want to have specific shows around specific topics, also different methods of medicating, comparing them. We want to have speakers, guests, call in. So we want to make the show available not only to all populations, but specifically the people that are looking for an alternative to help manage symptoms of chronic illness, but also too, part of it is for wellness. I see part of what we're doing to educate us on how we can incorporate this with other wellness tools.
Right. And if someone's a caregiver for someone else, if they're
Yes.
taking care of a loved one, my mother was in palliative care for a while. If someone's, I was just reading a study last week, I was talking about it, that 80% of oncologists are now recommending their cancer patients
Yes.
seek out cannabis
Yes.
or CBDs as a way to relieve symptoms related to chemotherapy and
Yes.
radiation.
Absolutely.
80%, but they don't tell them where else to go. When the Green Nurse Group is that bridge. So
Yes.
if someone's watching and they have a loved one or someone they love has cancer, and they're wondering, I know the information's out there. We see it on the news every night. You can't open a newspaper without
Yeah.
seeing it. But I want to introduce it to my mother in a way where, because if your mother was around in the 60s and
Yeah.
the 50s, they think of cannabis, they're programmed,
Yeah.
to think certain things. I mean, let's face it, they were programmed to, against cannabis. My mom would be like, oh my God, anything but that. But there's different delivery systems. They don't have to
Exactly.
smoke it.
So you don't
But
need-
talking to a
nobody-
nurse
yeah.
would mean everything.
And part
And that's
of
the
it, too,
bridge
is
you guys
meet-
provide.
Well, meeting them where they're at. So if, I can't throw up on them. So it's basically asking them questions and having them communicate to me. I'm gonna help them. We're gonna go through a series of questions and we're gonna figure out exactly what we need to do to take care of you, to manage your symptoms. And we do it together. And they get to choose. And that's the fun part, because they don't know. And when you start, they're like, oh my God, no way, you can do that. Oh my God, you can make this with that. I can do this. I can take a bath. I can have a bath bomb explode and feel good. They're in awe. And these are the kinds of things that people,
I didn't even know that.
oh yeah. My mother had a heart attack She put a bath bomb in, and she said she thought it was like an alien. It exploded.
What is it? It has like
Rust.
THC in it
No,
or
it's just
CBDs?
CBD and some other essential oils. But she said there was these black specks. She was like they were going everywhere. And she was like horrified.
I was
there were
talking.
bugs.
I was talking to a massage therapist that has a lot of patients that have this fibromyalgia.
Oh,
You know, it's
yeah.
it's a lot of pain. And
Tons.
she said she's been using this massage, CBD massage oil.
Yeah.
And I mean, the same patients that she's been massaging for years and helping for years, because she's using this CBD, and I don't know the name of it. Maybe if I find it, I'll get it and post it, of course. But she said the results that her patients are having with the arthritis and the ability to move,
Yeah.
the range of movement that they get
Yes,
back.
range of motion.
I mean,
Yeah.
just from getting the massage now with this
Right.
CBD, and they're not even taking it, but I guess, and you would probably know more about this, Dale, than anybody. When you
The
put it on your
receptors.
skin, they're absorbing it transdermally, right?
Kind of, but not really. So if you
Right.
think about transdermal patches, they have a specific medium. And the purpose of transdermal patches to actually get into the circulatory system. But when you're talking about topicals like lotion, it's basically absorbing into the skin and hitting the CB2 receptors, the peripheral nervous system receptors, and is acting as a local anesthetic. That's the best way I can explain it. So you would not get the psychoactivity or the intoxicating effects, even if there was a little bit of THC in the cream.
Okay.
But people feel really good, though. It works. And kind of one of the tests that I've done is, when I've been at events, having CBD creams available and having, not selling it to them, but just try this. Let's just see if it works.
Right.
Come back and tell me. And people have come back and have been like blown away. It doesn't take a lot, it's just a little bit, and it can make a big difference.
Right.
And they don't have to do it any other way. The cream could be the solution, and they won't know unless they try.
Right. And then, like I said, I don't know, but they could probably Google massage CBD and they'll find it. But it's out there, and the stories that I've heard, I mean, they were incredible.
Right.
For like fibromyalgia specifically. She had a lot of
Right.
patients with that fibromyalgia, and just by massaging them, because she had to massage them lightly for
Right.
for
yeah.
various reasons, pain points in certain areas, and I mean, she said it's been like godsend. It's like
Yeah.
unbelievable for people.
Yeah.
So I just give me a minute. I want to let our sponsors tune in, or say a word. Give you a word from our sponsors rather. You guys, Pro Verde Labs, folks. If you're watching right now, I know both these ladies are very familiar with Pro Verde Labs. They're one of the best labs out there. If you're developing a product, or you need to have a product checked, for instance, if you're a grower, if you grow cannabis out of your home, or a professional grower, and you're looking for a certified lab, the best out there, I believe they have the best name out there to test your product, you need to call Pro Verde Labs. Go to proverdelabs.com and get more information. Dorian is the CEO over there. He's a good friend of mine. And if you're developing a product, he'll work with you to develop that product and go back and forth and test that product. And if you're developing any type of THC or CBD or THCA product, you may want to call my good friend Dorian over at Pro Verde Labs. Also, Deaf Payment Systems. Dispensary, and you're trying to process credit cards. Hey, people are scared because banks, federally, they're looking at the federal laws, and a lot of banks are closing businesses in Massachusetts. They're closing their accounts, and they're closing their merchant accounts. And if you're a business out there, you know that your merchant account is a lifeline to your business. Absolutely. Without a merchant account, you could be out of business. Deaf Payment Systems, and their information should be right up on the screen. That's the company you want to call. Even if you have a merchant account right now, give them a call, because a backup merchant account is just insurance for your business or your company. And they're designed to not only work with high risk type companies, quote high risk companies like cannabis companies, but other type of companies like that. So they know the cannabis industry and they will get you your money. Deft Payment Systems, their information again is right on the screen. So ladies, let's talk about your show. We have your show coming out.
Yeah.
Okay, it's very exciting because you're going to be able to, really, I give you a platform. You can talk about anything that you want on your show, and you'll be able to interview all types of people, health professionals, medical professionals, get information from your patients, give that to
Yes.
I mean, it's all about information.
Absolutely.
Right now, it's really about getting information out there and changing the way people are thinking about cannabis, the stigma attached to it.
Correct.
Because if you're out there and you have anxiety, or if you have depression, or if you have symptoms related to cancer or chemotherapy or radiation, and you're not using this because of a stigma or because it's cannabis, you could be really missing out on really a God-given medicine that works, and it works for a good majority of people.
And it's also the perfect platform to learn, because there's no pressure. You tune in to the radio, right, on Wednesday evenings from 8 to 9. You can listen, you can watch it, and you have the ability to learn information from nurses, not only about cannabis, but the other tools that can actually make the cannabis work better, right? If we want to save you money, because it's an expensive, it's expensive. Don't you want to learn about your body and how the cannabis affects your body, and what else can you do to make it work better, right? Does that make sense?
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
So it's basically it's about a tool, and we want to bring in other tools, introduce other tools that's going to support our endocannabinoid system, the whole health picture, for wellness, wherever people may be on their journey.
Now patients can grow from home, right?
Yeah.
A lot of people can grow product from home, and a lot of people are interested in growing from home.
I saw your little garden. Your garden's adorable.
Well, I have a little garden,
I
yeah,
love your
and maybe
little
I'll show it
garden.
on next week's show. But
It's so
I think it's more than anything. And Dale, you were telling me before the show that nobody wants to grow their own; they just want to buy it and get the solution.
It's so much easier.
And you're absolutely right. But I think I believe there's a therapeutic value in doing it, and just on a small scale. I got a little light, a few plants, and it's just fun. It's I could probably do the same with a tomato plant.
Yes.
But I happen to like the cannabis plant a little bit more than the tomato plant.
Because it smells good.
Yeah, we'll go with that. But I think there's a therapeutic value in doing it
Totally.
as well.
Well,
And
it's
I know a lot of
nurturing.
people that are sick. Maybe they're home. They're stuck in their home, and they're older, elderly. Maybe they just can't get out on a daily basis, and they're looking for an activity. Not only a medical solution maybe to help them feel better, but an activity that they could do.
Absolutely, and they tune into
Oh,
Joe Grow.
Yeah, that's the Average Joe
Average
Grow
Joe Grow.
Average
show.
Joe Grow.
So-
Exactly.
So very exciting things, are coming out, and
I know. And what about the event too? I want to talk about the event in July.
all right, July
Tell me more
July
about that.
14th at the CBD Marriott, and there's still I think there's over 100 tickets left, but they're going to go quick. There was only 200 tickets available to begin with, so it's not like a huge event. It's not like the NECAN event, as you ladies know. It's more of an educational event and networking event, and we're also going to have a really good time. It's going to be at the Peabody Marriott from 6 p.m. to 11. 6 to 11 p.m. July 14th. It's a Saturday. You can go right to the Facebook page and get your tickets right now, but get them and get them early. I think right now you get a $20 discount. The Green Nurse Group, much of the donation for your ticket goes back to the Green Nurse Group, which is a nonprofit organization that helps people throughout Massachusetts and educates people throughout Massachusetts about medical cannabis. So it's a great cause. You're going to get great information. You're going to meet the hosts of the various shows that we have. You're going to meet some of the top vendors. You're going to meet who's who in the cannabis business.
You're gonna meet us.
You're going to meet the girls right here. And tell me, I know you girls are excited about it as well.
Yeah.
Because it's different than a lot of the other events. And maybe talk about that for a second.
Well, it's different than the other events because not only are we going to be talking medically, but we're also going to be talking to a community that's, with adult use. So wanting to reach all populations, it's a good platform for it because it includes everyone, so what do you
It's a
think?
much more intimate setting, just because it's so limited.
Yeah, with
Yeah.
just a few hundred people
Yeah.
and being able to meet everyone, shake everybody's hand,
Yes,
and
connect.
network with
More
people.
of a connection.
I mean, I think I think that alone.
Yeah.
In a
is
discussion, like having a discussion face to face with people.
Right, but keep in mind, it's recreationally going legal in July, and
Right.
there's a lot of information that's
And people-
coming out, and what's going to happen. Where am I going to be able to get my product? I mean, it's not really going to be much different than it is right now. People don't understand. It's not going to be like July 1st. These
Yeah.
places open
Right.
up. But if you want to know where to get your product and where to get
This
it
is-
early and
yes.
where to get it, how to get it quicker than everybody else, make sure you message us and stay tuned because we're going to give you all the inside information to put you on the fast track to get you the best product at the best price.
And the best care,
And the
right?
be-
Because we care.
Yeah.
Honestly, right?
Yeah.
I know, it
Yeah.
sounds so cheesy. I'm a goober when it comes to that. But really, honestly, being a medical patient myself, I care. I've been through it and I know what patients experience. And people that are really, really sick, they need help. I can't say enough
Now,
about
the
that.
medical card, a lot of people are still asking,
Yeah.
why do I still need my medical card? And I know we only have about 10 minutes left, maybe a little bit longer, but tell me about
So-
why we need our medical card. I just got my medical card. But why people are watching saying it's going recreationally legal. Why do I need my medical card?
So when this rolls out, it's not going to be like 20 or 30 dispensaries are going to open on July 1st. It's not going to happen that way. So as they get licensed and slowly, it's not like they're all licensed at once. They still need time to stock the stores up, to grow and cultivate and manufacture these products. So there's going to be long lines at the dispensaries that do get their recreational license. There's going to be long lines waiting. For patients, they're not going to have to wait in those lines. And the products are going to be a little bit different. There's going to be limits on the number of milligrams in the packaging. So it's going to be much higher for medical patients. So for example, a bottle of THCA, currently the dispensary that carries it, there's about 450 milligrams of THCA in that bottle. That's way over the limit of adult use. So it's going to be available medically, but not recreationally. So that's going to make a difference. Besides the tax is going to be much higher. It's like 20 something. Is it going to be 20%?
Yeah, I think I read no tax if you have your medical card.
No tax on the medical side. No, that's
that
going
could
to
be
stay the same.
20%.
And
Right.
that's a big difference.
And I think
yeah.
it's a big number. I say it's a novelty at first going to a dispensary and
Right,
say you got to
right.
buy a quarter ounce of flour. That's what they call it today, flour. So quarter ounce of flour, and it's costing you instead of $100, it's costing you $120 because
Right.
of the tax. The
Right. But that will
the
stay
novelty of we're going into that dispensary and paying
Right.
$120.
And waiting in line for
It's
2
gonna-
hours to get in, because that's what's going to happen when they first open.
Right.
It's going to be a long time before there's enough dispensaries open where they see the competition and the prices start to go down.
So by
and the
having your
lines aren't
medical
up.
card, no tax, but
No
you have
tax.
access. They have to put every dispensary has to
Yeah.
put a certain amount aside,
Right.
just for the medical
Just for the medical
patients.
patients, so they don't run out. And
And-
you won't have to wait in line. There'll
What
be a
ab-
separate line for that.
What about job? People have a lot. My job tests for cannabis. What if you probably get
So
that question a lot?
Right, so we've had, that was brought up in the higher court of Massachusetts. So if somebody has as long as it's not a safety issue, if they have a medical card, then they can't be fired for that, for having THC in their system. Unless it's a federal job, then that's excluded, or something that has something to do with safety, like they're a driver. and they drive people, or they,
Right.
something like that would be excluded.
Right.
Yeah.
Interesting. That's interesting. Do they do that if someone gets prescribed opiates?
I know.
Yeah, really.
Or,
No,
or
they don't.
benzodiazepines,
When they're nodding off at the wheel?
right? Or sleep medications
Yeah.
that they're
Oh my
abusing.
God.
I
I
know.
mean-
I know.
I mean,
Bad.
you know, the thing is, a lot of people use it recreationally, and this is in my mind a lot. And people like it recreationally. I like it recreationally, but you know, thinking
Recreational?
back,
There's nothing wrong with it.
but looking back, I think a lot of people that use it recreationally may have been using it for years
Medically, yeah.
for a medical reason, whether they have
Right.
some anxiety or whether
Yes.
they have various
self-medicating.
they've been
That's-
self-medicating
yes.
and handling something that they didn't even know.
Well,
Yeah.
that's true. Even in one of the Facebook groups that I belong to, wonderful. Everyone just shares information, and someone tossed out a poll. How long have you been smoking for, using cannabis for, and why do you use it, medically or recreationally? And the majority of the people, and this was in a Facebook adult use recreational community, majority of the people, I would probably say close to 90% of them, said they were using it for sleep, for anxiety, for pain, my back pain, my stress, you know, being able to get out of the house, being able to get out of bed so I can eat, you know, so I can sleep, so I can be around people. I mean, going on and on and on. And then there was a few that said, because I wanted to get stoned. And,
Right.
you know what I mean?
And
but
it
that,
felt
but
good.
yeah. And so what?
But there's two different, you know,
It's a
that's
choice.
why it's tough for people to maybe think to combine it in their head, because it's been used as a recreational drug for so long.
Right.
Right.
And now it's available, and they're saying there's all these benefits. I think the medical world was shocked when they found out that opioid use deaths went down where people had access to cannabis. Because me and everybody else, I thought about the same thing. No, there's no way. I wouldn't have thought that. Maybe you, but
Yeah,
I
well-
never would have thought that. And I don't think any medical professional would have said, you know, where we make medical cannabis legal, that the use of opioids and the deaths from opioids is going to go down. And we're talking about by 25%. And that's almost across the board. I mean, this is like, it's unbelievable.
It's a no-brainer.
Well, people don't want to use generally, in general,
They
they
don't.
don't want to use opioids. There's too many side effects. They don't feel right. They get constipated. Constipation alone is a good reason not to use opioids.
Poop.
Yeah.
Right, yeah, I mean,
That's just that side effect alone. Never mind that you can't drive. Can you drive on opioids? Can you function? What do you feel like? Have you ever taken them? You just don't feel
horrible.
good.
it's synthetic heroin.
You just feel gross.
That's what opioids are, right? And when you break it down to what it is, opioids, whether it was Oxycontin or today they have fentanyl, which is a whole
Fentanyl.
fentanyl.
Operating room drug.
I mean,
Narcotic.
And you know, if you think about it,
but
people
they're-
that are living in chronic pain, their
Suffering.
risk of suicide and depression doubles than of people that aren't. So when you now you're taking something to get rid of that pain. If you're taking a pharmaceutical, there's 100% chance that it's going to have a side effect.
Right.
We don't always notice the side effect, but all of a sudden we need something for our anxiety, for our depression. These people are more likely to be depressed because they're living in chronic pain. Cannabis can help alleviate, mitigate some of that pain. It can help lift your mood. It's a mood enhancer. It doesn't, without the side effects.
And they can take it in a pill too.
They
I
can
mean,
take it
I
in
know
a
there's
pill, they
cannabis
can take it in
pills.
a tincture, they can take it in a chocolate bar if they want that.
And if you're thinking about I mean, I'm not a health professional, but if I'm thinking about lines of defense for my patient before I go to opioids, okay, I mean, cannabis
be
has
a
to be
choice. It needs to be
more
a
of a
choice.
first line of defense.
Right.
You
I
could
mean, I'm
take-
not saying
choice.
opioids are the first line of defense anymore. You
They're
basically
not.
you have to have
They're
terminal
not.
cancer to have
Right.
opioids.
But they're giving you other things like gabapentin, Lyrica, anticonvulsants, antidepressants, anti-anxieties, non-steroidal anti-inflammatories. All of these come with grave side effects.
It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
The whole country's fucked up.
Yeah. basically
On
we're all on
drugs.
drugs.
I mean, whether one drug or another. Here,
Right.
I
I'd
went
rather
out, I
be
went
on
out
a
to
plant.
Utah, right?
I'd
Utah.
rather-
Sorry to say it. The F word. People listen. Whatever. I'm sorry. It slipped. Utah, right? They're Mormons, right? They don't drink. I went up to a hotel, tried to get a drink. I couldn't get a drink. All Mormons. They're all on antidepressants, like 99% of them.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, it's like the amount of people, Mormons, that are on antidepressants is like through the
Oh,
roof.
wow.
I mean, but it's like, there's
So they're not medicated.
someone's
with
always
alcohol.
taking something.
Sometimes,
You know what I'm just saying?
Yeah,
it's
if
just
you're gonna
unbelievable.
take something, you may as well take something that is gonna support all other areas of your body. There is nothing else that does that. So if I'm gonna be taking cannabis for nausea, or taking cannabis for anxiety or for depression, it's gonna support other areas of my body, and there's nothing else that does that.
So the CBDs.
Win-win-win.
So if someone's watching right now and they say, I'm interested in trying the CBDs for myself or someone that I love, they can just get that online or go to any Massachusetts store and find CBDs. They can Google
but
you guys.
again, they
and-
really need to know the source. And a lot of the things that are available, it doesn't have enough milligrams in the bottle to be effective. So if you're not using a dose that's effective, that's therapeutic, then it's not going to work. So they're going to spend money on something that isn't worth it. So it's really best to,
Get a consult.
yeah.
Get a consult.
Or even
Seriously,
just
'cause
give
we
us a
save
call.
money. Give us
Right.
a call. Like, you don't even need a consult.
Right, and I know you guys are working on
And we'll
on
put you in the right
I know you
direction.
guys are working on a line of products to simplify it for
Yes.
people at
We've done
home
all
as
the
well.
research. We've sourced things out, the best products, the organically grown, and we care about our patients enough to do that.
Yeah.
So there's more information coming out
Yep.
on that all the time.
Yeah.
Girls, any last words for our audience?
You know, one of the
we
things-
only have a few minutes left.
Yeah, go ahead,
One of
Dale.
the things that we don't really talk about much is when somebody's not feeling well or they're sick, it's not just the patient themselves, it affects the whole entire family. So it's not just the single person, it's the whole entire unit, family unit.
And it's usually someone in the family. I mean, when someone reaches out to the Green Nurse Group, is it usually the patient or is it somebody in their family?
It's interesting. It's recently it's been like my friends, a friend of mine,
Yeah.
or a family member I have,
Right.
a parent, social worker, or nurse.
Right.
So that's pretty much the people that are reaching out initially for us to start educating and helping them figure out what they need.
Right, and I know we've done whole shows on the opioid abuse and what cannabis is doing in that arena as well. But I want to thank you guys, ladies rather, for being on the show. And I'm excited you guys are involved here at the Cannabis Radio Network. I'm excited for your own show because I think you're
Thanks.
going to give so many people out there the information that they need and really need, to get well. So
Exactly.
Yeah.
come out. You can meet both Sherry and Dale at the upcoming event in July. It's the Cannabis Radio Network kickoff event. Okay, we have a kickoff event. It's July 15th. It's July 14th from 6 p.m. to 11 p.m. Okay, it's more of an educational event. There's going to be more information online about it. But go there and get your ticket today. There's only a couple of hundred tickets. It's not like the NECAN events. It's not like a lot of the events where there's a lot of music. You can't hear anything. This is going to be an educational event where you can network with the leaders in the cannabis industry throughout Massachusetts. And we're going to have a lot of fun. So I hope you come out, and I look forward to meeting you. But go right to the Facebook page, our Cannabis Radio Network Facebook page, and get the information and register for that event. And do it tonight. You actually save $20 a ticket. The tickets are $95 each. You save $20 a ticket by getting them now. Now, you're going to get over $300 in value and free gifts when you do come to the event. So the $75 is is well worth it. Plus, a big portion of the proceeds is going back to the Green Nurse Group, which is helping people throughout Massachusetts learn more and get educated about cannabis. So it's a great cause. You're going to learn information. We're going to have events like this pretty much every 3 to 4 months. So look forward and look for upcoming events. But it's pretty exciting. It's a pretty exciting time here in Massachusetts to know that cannabis is going to be available medically, and for a lot of people, a lot of friends I know, it's going to be available for recreational use finally as well. So my name is Donald Barrett. This is the Barrett Report, and I'm excited that you watched tonight's show. We're getting thousands of views every week, and it's growing and growing. So tell a friend, tell more people about it. Come out to the event, and you're going to learn a lot more about what we're doing here at the Cannabis Radio Network. So my name is Donald Barrett, and we'll see you next time on the Barrett Report. Thanks for watching.
How you doing? This is Jake Gannon with the Cannabis Radio Network, and this is your Average Joe Grow. We are here today to show you step by step how easy, simple, systematic it is for you to grow your own great weed. And we're going to start off with some little babies that we have right here that are ready for a transplant. This is going to be your first step once you're getting ready on your first grow. So the first thing we're going to want to do is make sure that our water is pH properly. Now ideally you want your water to be between 5.5 and about 7.0 for a pH. So we have a little gauge right here. You can get these at Green Harvest Hydroponics. Go see Anthony. CRN10 is a promo code. You get a 10% discount. He'll hook you right up. Now, what we have here is we lucked out. We have about a 6.3 pH level, which is pretty ideal. Typically, it can be about, where I have my other grows, it's over 7.0. So I have to add, right over here, we have pH down. This is also a product you can get right from Green Harvest Hydroponics. And typically, you're just gonna take, so I filled this up. Typically, you just put a little drop into it. This doesn't need any, but you just put, 2.5, 3 millimeters. You stir it in, you see what your level's at, and if it's between 5.5 and 7, it's good to go in the water. And prior to doing this, you wanna if you don't have a filter, you wanna let your water sit for about 24 hours to make sure anything in there dissolves off or evaporates off and it's clean water going in. After the 24 hours is up, it's ready to be used. So we have pH water, that's good to go. Now we have our clone right here, ready for a transfer. And we have a 3-gallon pot that we're gonna transfer it into. So what we like to use is also another product you get from Green Harvest Hydroponics, and that is your Michigan Mix. It's super soil organic, and it's some great stuff. You'll really like it. It makes it a lot easier, a lot less steps, and it also grows a great product. So I'm gonna fill this right up. Make sure the dirt in there is pretty loose because these roots, they need room to expand, grow. If you have it all compact, it's gonna really make it kind of stress and make it struggle a little bit. So make sure you got some nice loose dirt in here. Open up a little bit. Now what you're gonna do is you're just gonna take this, just loosen up the sides a little bit, give it a little push on the bottom, a little flip. It's gonna pop right out. Now you can see all the roots right here. They're starting to spin a little bit. Ideally, you don't want them spinning at all, so you're gonna loosen these up a little bit. So they're loose. You're gonna pop it right in here. And you're just gonna surround the sides, make sure it's nice and in there. You know, you want it packed, but you don't want it too tight. Now, once that's in, get a couple handfuls and just push it right on around. Maybe one more. There's also, you have to remember, as you put water in, it's gonna settle the dirt, and it's gonna drop it down a lot. So once we have that, you have your water over here that's pH'd. Go ahead and give it a nice scoop. Make sure it gets all around the roots. 1, 2. We got a perfect sunny day today, so these things are just gonna continue to grow. So that is an easy transfer. From right here, this is gonna, we'll show you week by week, obviously, how you really wanna be transferring, but once these get about that much of a bush, you're gonna transfer it into another pot over here now. Over here, if you tuned in last week, we had Rob Smith with his Atlas plant trainer. And I gotta say, he sold me on these. I always used to use Bamboo, but then he showed me these, and as you can see, they're already starting to bush out, and we're starting to get new growth right on top. So this is really going to fill in. At the end of the summer, you're going to have some monsters here. And week by week, we're going to show you each step, how to do this, how easy, simple, systematic, and everybody can grow some weed. This is Jake Ganem, the Cannabis Radio Network, and we'll see you next time.